This brings us to the third and final installment in the main series, Vampire Savior, the Lord of Vampire, a.k.a. Jedda's Damnation. Released in 1997, Vampire Savior was a major shift in the series. It set a template which every following game in the series would follow, and featured new mechanics which knocked the overall pace of the game up a few notches. After noticing the newfound popularity of fighting games that featured more than 3 paragraphs of plot, Capcom expanded the backstory of the series. But here's the Cribs Notes version. A few years after the events of Vampire Hunter, a powerful vacuum has opened in the hierarchy of Makai, the realm in which most monsters reside, and a new figure has literally materialized out of thin air in order to take advantage of it. Jeddah Doma, the titular savior, who plans to save Makai from corruption. Or at least, that's what he thinks he'll do. Although, killing everyone in sight, stealing their souls, and allowing them to fester in a wretched interdimensional womb of his own design doesn't seem like it would help anyone, really. Still, he's determined to realize his vision, and most of the other characters aren't really able to see this coming since they've got their own problems. The actual plot is more detailed than that, and acts as a perfectly valid excuse for the bloodletting to begin anew, but it comes with a catch. For various reasons, both canonical and technical, Pyron, Phobos, and Donovan were excluded from the roster, while 4 new characters made their debut. QB, one fighter in a legion of lithe, buxom alien shape-shifting bees. Bees. My god.
What is it? What is it? What is it? Oh, no, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah! Oh, my eyes! My eyes! Ah! Ah!
The aforementioned Jeddah, Lilith, the face that created 1,000 closeted lolicons, and Boletta, a.k.a. B.B. Hood, a psychopathic mercenary that specializes in hunting Darkstalkers, and a pretty good example of how twisted humans can be. In addition to the new characters, the returning vets had most of their move lists changed or modified somewhat. One universal change was that most special moves which are guard cancelable had their inputs changed to a Dragon Punch motion, similar to the other versions of guard cancelling which were implemented in earlier Capcom fighters. Also, other gameplay mechanics were added to the game, such as the advancing guard. By pressing buttons while blocking, players could push away their opponent during a blocked hit or series of blocked hits, and the strength of the last button determines how far away said opponent is pushed. However, using only one button only registers a tech hit around 10% of the time. And to increase the probability of a tech hit, players have to drum or press in rapid succession 3 or more buttons the very instant a blocked hit occurred. Pressing 3 buttons amounts to a 25% chance, pressing 4 gives a 50% chance, 5 buttons gives a 75% chance, and pressing all 6 buttons in a row simultaneously or near simultaneously guarantees a push block with the maximum pushback every single time. The Super Bar underwent very few changes from the last game, aside from the fact that the counter could now go up to 99 stocked bars of energy. But there was one addition to it. Players could now activate a state called the Dark Force by pressing 2 same strength punch and kick buttons. The Dark Force causes the stage to shift to an otherworldly background and allows players to use new special abilities. For example, Felicia could bring in an ally that could body splash her opponent from above while she attacked, and Victor can empower himself with electricity, giving himself the strength to toss enemies around with one arm. However, the Dark Force technique had 2 caveats. It had a time limit, which was shortened when the user received damage, and once the time limit was reached, the player who used it would automatically taunt, leaving themselves open for attack. While the special bar was only slightly changed, the life bars were completely redesigned. Now, rather than acting like a traditional life bar which replenished each round, it too operated on a stock system called the down system. Each character started a match with the same number of stocks for their health, indicated by little bat icons under their life bars. And once their first life bar was emptied, their next stock was activated, This would continue until one player runs out of stocks, losing the match in the process. This essentially removed rounds from the game, as the damage that the characters receive stays somewhat constant throughout the match, as opposed to being replenished each round like in the traditional match format. I said somewhat because of another addition to the life bar, impact damage. You see, underneath the solid green life bar, which represented a character's current health, there lies a layer of transparent white life, which replenishes itself and becomes green life over time. Highly damaging attacks and combos can take away a large amount of green life, but at the same time, leave a large chunk of white life which will replenish itself over time. The new mechanics that were introduced in Savior, coupled with the older mechanics and fast-paced gameplay from its predecessors, turned the game into a different monster than most other fighting games that had come before. On one hand, the game retained the same hard-hitting, kinetic gameplay as its predecessors, and that aspect of it tends to be the only part recognized by most newcomers and observers. Yet, on the other hand, the defensive mechanics, such as guard cancelling, advanced guarding, and impact damage, can be used to recover from even the most one-sided fights, or to punish brain-dead chain combos and lackluster offense. Additionally, the down system can either keep players from gaining too much of a life lead, or practically shut out the other player depending on how the match goes. And the Dark Force techniques give characters another method of attack. All of these things, coupled with the overall style and tone of the characters, background, and combat, give the game enough niceties to avoid rigid, predictable play, and make Savior stand a cut above most of the games in Capcom's library. It was a culmination of everything in the series up to that point, and, in my opinion, it could stand as the definitive game in the series. But after Vampire Savior was released, well, an odd thing happened.